Hi, this is Tom from Rocket Restorations, and today we're going to install an engine how the factory did it. This is pretty much the only way we install motors anymore. The factory did a body drop right over the engine and transmission and everything else, and that's the easiest way to do it, so that's how we're going to do it. But just want to give you a little introduction on the car. It's a 1973 Dodge Charger. It's got kind of a cool story on it. The owner, it was his dad's car in the 70s. They've owned it since I think 76. I may get that wrong, but it's kind of cool. It's a 3-generation car. So the grandpa, a good friend of mine, I bought a couple cars from him over the years. They owned a dealer in Eastern Washington and Tico, and then his dad drove this car. I'm pretty sure it came through the dealership, and then the grandson's the one who wanted to get this thing restored. So we're just starting to put it back together. Got the booster in. Motors all put together. We're doing a bit of a resto mod on this, and this is one we hope to do more videos on in the future as we, continue with the process of getting the car restored. I've had a lot of people ask for, in restoration videos, so I want to help you guys out. We actually haven't done too many late B-bodies in here. This is, as you can tell if you're familiar with the earlier cars, this is a rubber isolated suspension car. So what we're doing here is we got from Firm Feel, there's aluminum spacers. So originally there was rubber in there, and it was to help with noise, vibration, harshness. That was isolated, the rear end was isolated, the tranny cross member was isolated right here. So we have basically a spacer kit to fix all that. This is all the stuff we need to put it in. So it's the tranny cross member, which is a huge piece that bolts onto these. They had rubber isolators there too, which again we're eliminating because the rubber's all worn out, and it's basically either use aluminum or polyurethane, and I prefer the aluminum. They handle much better. The rubber really helps with ride and handling. Ride and noise, but it does not help with handling. I mean, anytime you put rubber into a system, it's just gonna let stuff move around more. And that's not what we're trying to go for here. We're in the first stage of this. Got the rear end yesterday. So this had a 8 1/4, and we put 8 3/4 in it. I'll tell you about the motor here in a minute. Put some heavy duty leaf springs in. We still have to paint red on the drums because we're gonna put 17-inch magnums, the aluminum ones on here. So doing a bit of a resto mod with this, but it was originally petty blue, but we're doing a lot of upgrades to it. Body and paint's all done. The motor is the original 400 block. We decided to do, he wanted basically kind of effortless power. So we did a 451 stroker in it. We upgraded it was the original AC car, but we put one of the modern compressors on it. They take a lot less power, run much more efficiently. The RV2 compressors are great. I mean, they're mechanical marvel from Chrysler, but they take a ton of power to run. They have like 2 giant pistons inside of them. We did magnum valve covers, and we're also going to do fuel injection on this. But what we do on these is we're actually going to run it with a carburetor for the break-in miles. I don't trust the EFI to get the fuel mixture correctly initially, especially when the motor's like real new. We've already run this motor on our engine run stand, so it's partially broken in, but it's also a roller cam motor. So you don't really have to do a full break-in on a run stand like you would with a flat tappet cam. With the flat tappet cam, you need to run it for 20 minutes, vary the RPM, keep it up. On a roller cam, you don't really have to worry about that. All right, prep and put the motor in. Evan's doing a little sweeping. Jamie's finishing the rear end. So basically, we roll this thing over here, and then, we are a little bit spoiled having a lift here, but we're just gonna drop it down. Jamie's finished up the brake lines back here, and we've got new springs. He's taking the tags off. Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
Got the brake lines on, and away we go. So the goal with this car was to basically make it a reliable cruiser. So we're putting all the EFI on it, did a stroker, so it's kind of effortless power out of the 400. We added HP manifolds to it, so it is the original engine block that we used to do the 400. So yeah, away we go. All right, have the engine rolled underneath there. Unfortunately, on the 73s, the cross member has to go in after, so we're gonna have to crawl in and bolt that in after the motor is connected. So we'll do the K-member bolts on each side. The aluminum spacers are right there. and then we'll put the cross member in after, which is a little tricky because you got to be real careful because we're basically adding 800-900 pounds to the front of this car, so it's not going to be stable on the lift. We will have to reset this on the lift after we do this, so it's a little sketchy. You have to get it in there to get that cross member in. So basically you got to lift it off the ground a little bit and then crawl underneath it. There's really no way to do that on the lift safely. Also, the motor will try to go backwards. We generally put a jack on the back of the transmission when we pull it up, so because all you've got is the mounts holding it in. So the motor will lean quite a bit backwards when you do that, which could mean it could hit the firewall or damage the mounts. These are the spool mounts, which are the 73 and up mounts. So they have, you know, urethane on the inside with a bolt through it instead of the biscuit mounts. The biscuit mounts move a lot more than the spool mounts, but it's still a problem. So when we lower the car down, bolt the K-member up, we'll put a jack underneath the back of that, lift everything up to get the cart out from underneath it, and then we'll do the cross member after that. And then the torsion bars on a 73 go into the cross member. So on a 72 before, they're part of the body, but on this car, it bolts into the cross member. So after doing this many times over the years, we've got a couple tips and tricks here. So this is what Evan came up with. So you tie a string to the bolt, which helps you kind of line everything up, because you think you can line it up, but it's really hard just eyeballing it. So you just put a little weight on there, and that gets you in the ballpark. So when you go down, because no matter what you do, it's a tight fit. It's actually a little better on these 73 B bodies. The frame rail's a little wider on the rubber isolated cars. But like, man, trying to do those a Hemi, I mean, you basically have to hit the frame rail going down. So it's nice just kind of ballparking this. It makes the job a lot easier. So we just put a string on each corner so you can get it square, and just kind of gets you in the ballpark.
Some real plumb bobs would actually help.
Apparently Jamie informed me that this is called a plumb bob, which you can tell how much construction I've done because I didn't know what that was. But now we just use a nut and it's pretty close to lined up. So now it's time to start dropping the car.
You can like tie it or...
We also have a pretty nice cart with forecasters on it to make this movable. You don't have to have that. Like, I know like Graveyard Cars, they get donated all their high-end equipment, so they have like actual carts for this. We just use wooden carts and it works fine. All right, so now it's time to start going down with the body.
We can't film and do it at the same time.
You tripod.
So from the top here, you can see how tight it is. So on the running the lift here, so we're getting a few footage when we get down here, but you can see how tight it is. But 73s are actually nice because they have a little more room than the 72 and befores. Also note, on a rubber isolated car, normally we have the upper control arms all hooked up. You cannot do that because it has to go to the other side of the frame rail there. Getting close.
Okay. Yeah, we got to, on my side, rearward, like, just a skosh. It's pretty good there. Oh, no, it's not.
Are you hitting something?
You got the factory bolt or the?
Oh, I've got the other one.
Yeah.
So we got down here pretty close. Bolts are almost lined up. Probably just gotta go down just a little bit more. Sometimes the angle won't be 100% correct because the tranny's is laying on the cart. Now it's just fine adjustments, and that's what the cart's for. You can't really do this on the ground. You gotta have a cart to be able to move this around. And what we're doing is Fernfield provided some little stronger bolts. They don't have pilot points, so we're gonna put the stock bolts in first. It'll make this a little bit easier. The pilot points will kind of help center it a little bit. So Evan's got his. Do you have your started, Evan?
Yeah, but my
Yeah, get your bushing to click in.
my block's not in yet. No.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead and do that. Mine is. So,
Well,
you want it
Where do we need to go?
there we go.
that way?
He's got it.
That's where I need to be right there.
All right, cool. All right, let me go down a little bit more.
No, it's good. It's an illusion. All right, go down.
Jamie's got him started. So we're gonna go down just a little bit. And again, with the lift, you have the ultimate control here. Just go really, really slow. Make sure everybody's hands are out of the way.
Oh,
Oh,
Slow.
and we just hit something.
Bound up on the bushing, but it's good now.
Okay. Go.
Still good over there?
I'm down in the front, my back's still up.
Same.
That's gonna happen.
Go ahead. Hold.
That's it.
And again, to reiterate what we said before, this thing is not gonna be stable on the lift once we do it, so we'll have to reset this afterwards. That's why we have the rear end in, so we can put tires on the back after we get it secured, so we can reset the lift so it's safe, so it's not too nose heavy. And then we get the bolts in. And it's 4 bolts, 1 on each corner with those aluminum spacers. If you use the stock rubber or the polyurethane, same process. The aluminum takes up the same amount. And we got quite a bit of clearance here. We got 2 fuel lines there because we're doing fuel injection, so it's 3/8 and 5/16. Clears the booster and the brake stuff pretty nicely. The power steering kind of rubs a little bit there, but that's fine. We'll fix that later. And then again, the front's tight, the back isn't. That's just how the engine is sitting on the cart. You can use the bolts to kind of start it, and then we'll lift it up and get them in.
Yeah,
Pretty close.
it goes higher than I thought.
Now the fun part, now we gotta get the tranny, the jack underneath the tail shaft transmission to hold it up so we can lift the car up to get it off the cart, and then crawl underneath there to get the cross member in. And I made Jamie go underneath because I don't like working on the floor anymore.
I'm always that guy.
But he's doing a good job. So now we're gonna get the tranny cross member in to secure the transmission up, and then we can lift the car up and put the torsion bar cross member in, which bolts in on this car, which is right there.
Too easy.
Right, so you gotta have a jack on the back of it, probably with a wood block to be able to do this. You gotta get the weight off to get the tranny cross member in. All right, motor's in. So we just started 2 bolts because remember when I mentioned when we started this to have all your bolts and fasteners ready? Well, we can't find the cross member bolts. They're around here somewhere, but we'll find them. So just put that in temporarily, and then we can put the torsion bar cross member in, and then put the torsion bars in. And right now, Evan and Jamie are bolting back up the upper control arms. I said, if you're used to the 72 and up stuff, it's a little goofy, but it's actually pretty closer to a GM setup. GM. All right, let me connect the upper control arm, which that plate just goes on with 4 bolts, just like that. You tighten it down. This is how you align it to, which is way, way down the line, but just want to get these secure, and then once they're tight, we can at least get a wheel on it to roll it around. All right, so we found the tranny cross member bolts. Evan restored them, and now they're in. So next, as Jamie helps Evan put this in, is the torsion bar cross member, which is just another way to isolate the front suspension. But again, we are using aluminum spacers instead of the factory rubber. I have a frozen Band-Aid for my 4-year-old daughter this morning. I know you're all jealous. So next we put the torsion bars in. Always remember to grease the front. And the boot goes in the back. All right, we got the torsion bars in after some serious massaging. Couldn't get the adjuster far enough down to get that torsion bar in, so we actually ended up having to take out the bump stop and a couple of things to get the arm to droop low enough. We have poly bushings on this, so it was not going back down. And these are a little bigger torsion bars. I said we're doing, you know, a little bit of the Resto Mod thing here, you know, a little bigger sway bar so it handles a little bit better. And then gotta grease the torsion bars on the front, and then on this and every other car, it's a little different here, but there's a boot back there you put grease into so they don't squeak. And then don't forget to put the clip in the back too. And FFI is Firm Feel. We good friends with people down at Firm Feel. They do good work, and that's what we're using on this car. So, all right, I'll about wrap it up for today. We'll do more videos on this as we make a little more progress on it. Obviously, getting the engine in is a big deal. We're doing the fuel injection on it, so we got the fuel injection tank ordered today. The fine folks at Aeromotive Auto sell a tank with the electric fuel pumps actually inside of it. It makes our job a lot easier putting this in. So next step is getting that tank getting it in, and you know, a lot of stuff to button up in the engine bay still. We just kind of threw everything, well, not throw everything together, but you know, we got to torque everything, grease suspension, cotter pins, all that fun stuff. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more from Rocket Restorations and all of our fun stuff.